people, especially young people, were not necessarily getting their news and information from traditional means, like the newspaper or television stations. They were going towards the internet, and we sensed that if we didn't start doing things differently, that we were in danger of becoming irrelevant to the generation of Hawaii residents that the legislature is supposed to serve. I was very fortunate. Obviously, I'm not a young kid, but I've had interns and I've had assistants, and I've tried to pick their brains in terms of getting to know what's important to them. How do you and your friends get your information? How are we going to be able to inspire young people to get politically involved? And at the time, my assistant it was a young woman named Kim Fassler, who some of you may have known. Kim went on to become a reporter at the Advertiser, and she's now in Washington, D.C. getting her graduate degree. But Kim and I actually started the blog. And I wanted to tell you that it wasn't easy getting the permission to start a blog from to represent the House, because as you can imagine, there were a lot of people that were afraid of having us starting a blog. How was this going to expose us? Would this make us vulnerable? Would it come back to haunt us? I serve the House majority. There are 40 plus members of the House. How is that going to work? How is everybody going to get represented? But to leadership's credit, to Speaker Say's credit, they said, go for it. Let's see, what we can do. And if it becomes a problem, we'll stop it. But we have trust in you, that we'd like to see how this is going to work. And so I think it was in 07 that we started the blog, White House blog. And it was great fun. And it really actually opened the door to us, to the whole world of social media and what that could mean in terms of getting our message out. That if we were, and we're going to compete with media. We work very closely with the Capitol Bureau that's at the Capitol. I don't want to compete with a Derek DePledge or a Richard Barreca or for news. At the same time, we want to have a good relationship with them, and we want to be complimentary to them. And also, if we don't necessarily agree with how the media is covering the legislature, or that they're not focusing on the points that we'd like to see focused on, we have our own venue to get our message across. And so we think that it's a way to work harmoniously, but also have our own ability to get things out instantaneously. So we do the blog for about a year and a half, and then all of a sudden, a woman named Kate Gardner, who used to be the editor of the Molokai Times, left Molokai Times, and she went to Chicago to go to graduate school. She's going to graduate school at Medill, and she invited me to join Twitter. And I thought, what's that? What's that? And so I did, and that just exploded. That joining Twitter just completely caught us off guard. It took us about maybe 2 or 3 months to get a sense of what Twitter was all about, how we can use Twitter, who are we talking to, and first of all, I guess I should ask you how many people know Twitter and are familiar with what it's all about. Yeah, amazingly, I spoke to a class at HPU, and I think the Twitter skews a little older in college because not one student in that class knew what Twitter was, and that was amazing to me. Anyway, the advantages, I wanted to give you some of the advantages and disadvantages that we've found. One is that It's immediate. Probably the most successful thing that we've been able to do on Twitter is live tweet some of the hearings and the floor sessions. If we have something controversial going on, or if we have a lot of people that I follow and who follow me on Twitter are interested in the broadband bill or Act 221. If I know that a bill is coming up that a lot of my followers are interested in, I will make it a point to live tweet what's going on with that bill. That bill comes up for a hearing, and I'll know enough about the bill and the players to be able to say, okay, so-and-so is testifying now, what they're saying, what kinds of questions are being asked. And the people who are invested in that bill will be following and maybe asking questions. And we're having a conversation while the hearing is going on, but they're not at the Capitol. And so it's expanding the reach of the legislature to people on Twitter. They don't have to be at the Capitol. They don't have to be even turned into Olelo, per se. They can just follow Twitter. The other advantage is that it keeps the legislature relevant in a relatively new kind of social media. But it also allows people to get a sense of the legislature in what I call bite-sized pizzas. You know, sometimes the concept of being involved with the legislature is so overwhelming. But if you can just sort of get a sense of it, you know, in bits and pieces, it's much easier to learn, and you can get exposed to it at your own time, at the amount that you will feel comfortable with. Twitter is building professional relationships, but I think in a very personal way. And I think this is probably the most important thing about Twitter. I don't just Twitter about what's happening at the legislature. And people who follow me aren't necessarily only interested in what's happening at the legislature. I will Twitter about what movie I went to see, or you know, I'll use my past background. What screenplay contest do I think is the most advantageous to enter, or what great restaurant downtown just opened, and if you're in the Capital District, you want to check this out. You know, it's a relationship that I build as the communications director, but I'm a person. I'm a real person, and so the people that are learning about the legislature are learning it through the eyes of somebody who's real. Now, the disadvantages is that Twitter's not for everyone. Everybody Twitters in their own way, and you really do have to be cognizant that there are some things that are inappropriate to Twitter about. You have to use your best judgment, and also don't tweet when you're cranky or in a bad mood, that kind of thing. And also there's a Twitter etiquette to follow, and I think that people really do need to be cognizant of the fact that it's like any other kind of relationship. I think anybody who's on Twitter will know that you kind of get a sense of who these people are almost immediately. So just keep that in mind. So what's next? Running out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say that I don't think any of this would have been possible had not the Obama campaign kind of opened the door for all of this stuff. In a way, I feel that they legitimized social media and the ability to give credibility to things like Twitter, text messaging, blogs. I think the world kind of changed with that campaign, and I'm glad that we were able to take advantage of that.
Thank you.